Hey everybody, how's it going? So I was hoping to answer a question that shows up very, very often in my comments, which is why is there garbage everywhere in New York City? Now, I'm going to try to answer this as honestly as I can. I do believe that there's actually two different classifications to what it is that you see, and I'd like to go over each of these classifications separately. So, in New York City, one thing you may notice is that essentially you have a building, and then another building, and another building, and another building on this block, but then behind that building, you're not actually getting more space to put things like dumpsters, because behind, again, you have a bunch of buildings going that way, but on this block, as you can see, you also have another building, another building, another building, and so on and so forth. So when you are in a more suburban or rural environment, you may be able to have a business, and then behind the business, you put your dumpsters where you keep your garbage. Here, there is no room for that. If you were to have dumpsters for every business on the block, you would have no place for people to actually walk or lock their bikes or anything else. The sidewalk would really just be filled with dumpsters because you don't have space behind the building to do that or in between the building. And many of these, I don't know if you heard that, there's something actually rubbing. Oh my God, that guy's fender is coming off of his taxi and rubbing on the street. Well, that passes inspection here, I guess. But anyway, you have no space to actually put the garbage the way you would elsewhere, which is why you'll have people, what they do is at the end of the day, once their business closes, they put their garbage on the street. They typically bale up their boxes like this or have their garbage in bags, which every now and then will be opened by people that go through the garbage, which is why that will happen. Typically, they don't throw away the garbage like that. It gets opened by other people. And then it will be picked up by a garbage company, and the garbage company typically knows what your hours are. So if I say I close at 8, they'll come by around 9 or 10 or 11, so it's not kept there forever. Now, that's a separate class of garbage than this. So this is a business putting their garbage on the curb neatly to be picked up at the end of the day. This is just people being disgusting. So over here, this is not the same class of garbage. This is not business trash. Here you have a Christmas tree, you have some beer bottles, you have what looks like some bread or a corn muffin, you've got like a random cup, you've got like a bag, Dunkin' Donuts, a dirty napkin, a COVID mask, like a whole assortment of shit. This is separate. This is not by design. This is just people treating where they live like shit because they have no respect for where they live. And that's separate. That's kind of a cultural thing. And it's completely separate from business trash. So that, again, this is a business throwing away trash. Then you have somebody that decided to go through that business's trash, and that is separate from this. This is just people being disgusting. And it's just, it's a mindset. You know, every now and then when I'm driving, I'll see somebody open their car window and they'll throw a bag or a piece of aluminum foil or a cup out of it like it's nothing. And there are parts of the country where if you take something or trash and you just kind of ball it up and you throw it on the street, somebody will actually like look at you and say, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing that? Pick that shit up. If you do that here, you're seen as crazy. Like, why would you yell at that person for polluting? We all do it. It's a mindset. Well, for instance, when there was that one guy that was going up to every single car in the block and breaking into it with a wooden stick, the first thing that everybody at the stores thought is, yo, that guy's screwing up cars on our block. One of the ones that he screwed up is for our neighbor. We know our neighbor. We care about our neighbor. Let's follow that guy and make sure that he gets caught. And which is kind of like common sense. And at the end of the day, even though we didn't break the glass, we thought, well, this is garbage. It's near our street. Nobody else picked it up. So I got out and I got a broom and I got a dustpan and I swept it up. And it's not because I'm an amazing person. I'm a piece of shit. Not really a good person at all by most metrics. It's just kind of something that's ingrained in my head. Like, oh, there's a mess. This is my neighborhood. This is my home. I'm not going to treat it like total shit. Even if I don't necessarily like the area very much, even if I don't necessarily like the city, if I am choosing to be here for any particular period of time, I should choose to not treat it like trash. And that mindset is not something that is common. So again, it is a combination of two separate things. The first is logistics, because again, if you look at every single one of these buildings here, there is no space. I'll put the widescreen camera so you can see. There is, I'm not going to go too far away from my bike. I actually locked it with 2 locks, but I still don't fucking trust the city. You can see that there is no space in between any of these buildings for anybody to create any sort of logistics for, you know, putting dumpsters or anything like that. And the second is, again, just fundamentally like something that's just culturally ingrained in the city where nobody gives a shit. And it's one of those things where, like, if you see this Are you honestly going to care? Like, again, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying you should. I'm not excusing your polluting. I'm just trying to explain human behavior. If you walk by and you see this, and you're the type of person that says, I'm not going to pollute, but it's more convenient for you to pollute, you got to admit, is it just a little bit easier for you to say, you know what, fuck it, what's the point? Like, again, if it's going to look like this on West 25th Street and 7th Avenue, like, again, you know, it's not, once it looks like this on every other block, you're so far away from things looking clean that you kind of give up on it. And if it's something that everybody else has given up on, it's not like you're you know, the one maid in the city of 8.5 million people is going to change it. So you probably think to yourself, well, fuck it, you know, if you can't beat them, join them, kind of thing. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. And also, more interestingly, let me know what you would actually do. Like, how would you fix that? Like, how would you come up with a system to make that work? Let me know.